Let's talk about something almost every American adult has in their wallet: a credit card. It feels normal, convenient, even responsible. You swipe it for groceries, gas, a dinner out. You collect points. Maybe some cash back. It feels like you're playing the system. But what if the system is actually playing you? Credit cards were never designed to make you wealthy. They were designed to make banks wealthy. And the real trap isn't the card itself, it's the psychology behind it. When you pay with cash, your brain feels the loss immediately. There's a physical separation from your money. But when you tap a piece of plastic, the emotional pain of spending almost disappears. Studies have shown that people spend significantly more when using credit instead of cash. Not because they're irresponsible, but because the brain perceives it differently. Now add rewards programs to the mix. Points, miles, cashback. The marketing makes you feel smart. I'm earning while I spend. But here's the uncomfortable truth: banks don't give rewards out of generosity. They calculate average behavior. They know a large percentage of customers will carry a balance. And once you carry a balance, the interest begins. 20% interest sounds abstract. But let's translate that. If you owe $5,000 at 24% APR and only make minimum payments, you're not just paying for what you bought. You're paying rent to the bank every single month. And that's where the real trap begins. The minimum payment. The minimum payment is marketed as relief. It looks manageable. Maybe it's $120 on a $5,000 balance. That feels safe, affordable, almost harmless. But the minimum payment is not designed to help you escape debt. It's designed to keep you in it. When you only pay the minimum, most of that money goes toward interest, not the principal. You feel like you're making progress because the balance moves slightly. But in reality, you're running on a treadmill. Moving, sweating, but not getting anywhere. Let's break it down. On a high-interest card, your minimum payment might barely cover the interest for the month. That means your original balance shrinks painfully slowly. Sometimes it can take years, even decades, to fully pay off what started as a few impulsive purchases. And here's the subtle part: life keeps happening. Your car needs repairs. Medical bills show up. Holidays arrive. Another swipe. Another balance transfer. Another "I'll pay it off next month." Debt doesn't explode overnight. It grows quietly. Like background noise. You adjust your lifestyle around it. The monthly payment becomes just another bill, like rent or electricity. It becomes normal. That normalization is powerful. Because once debt feels normal, you stop questioning it. You stop seeing it as a temporary tool and start living with it permanently. Banks understand this better than anyone. They rely on predictable human behavior. They know most people don't read the fine print. They know emergencies happen. They know impulse wins more often than discipline. And most importantly, they know that time works in their favor. Time is the silent partner in every credit card contract. And it almost always works against the borrower. Compound interest is often described as the eighth wonder of the world when you're investing. But when you're in debt, compound interest becomes the eighth wonder of destruction. Interest builds on interest. What you didn't pay last month becomes part of the balance this month. And the cycle continues. The longer you carry a balance, the more profitable you become. Not for yourself, but for the bank. And here's something most people don't realize: credit cards subtly reshape your lifestyle. When you have access to borrowed money at all times, your standard of living can quietly rise beyond your income. Better phone. Better vacations. Nicer restaurants. It feels like you're upgrading your life. In reality, you're borrowing from your future self. Future you will work to pay for past pleasures. This is how people with decent salaries still feel broke. It's not always about income. It's about cash flow. If a large portion of your monthly income is already promised to interest payments, you never get ahead. Raises disappear into balances. Bonuses vanish into debt. You move forward professionally, but financially you stay in place. And then there's the stress. Debt creates mental weight. Even if you don't think about it daily, it sits in the background. It affects decisions. It makes risks feel dangerous. It limits freedom. A job you dislike becomes harder to leave when you owe thousands. An opportunity becomes scarier when you're already stretched thin. This is the hidden cost of revolving credit, not just financial, but psychological. Now, to be clear, credit cards are not evil. They are tools. And tools can build or destroy depending on how they're used. The trap isn't the existence of credit. The trap is misunderstanding it. If you pay your balance in full every single month, you avoid interest entirely. In that case, the rewards truly are rewards. The system doesn't profit from you the way it profits from long-term borrowers. But that requires discipline, planning, and emotional control. Without savings, credit becomes the default solution. And that's exactly what banks count on. Financial freedom isn't about avoiding all credit forever. It's about controlling it instead of letting it control you. It's about understanding that minimum payments are comfort, not progress. That interest is silent but relentless. That convenience has a cost. The moment you see the structure clearly, the trap loses its power. Because the real difference between being broke and building wealth often comes down to one simple habit: paying interest versus earning it. And banks are betting that most people will keep choosing the first option.